say there is no self, I say, oh, sure, no self, no problem. Gone. No. From now on, I'm here without self. You know, because we don't really understand what's the question. And, you know, so all this suffering, also, why is it so important to talk of here's self, here's no self? You know, you want no self, okay, no self, no problem. It doesn't feel like I'm giving up on something, you know, because I never really thought I have a self. It's simply me here. So, you know. So I'll just finish, you know, again, we can talk about it a lot, but there's one little exercise that I told Geshe yesterday, and we did, maybe some people here tried also. I just learned, I came back lately from, it comes from a book from Carlos Castaneda, who studied from Don Juan, it's a Mexican shaman. So when we talk about do I have a self or don't I have a self, he gives him this little exercise. He asks him in the desert to go to a little plant and talk to it loudly. So just imagine, you don't have to do it, we don't even have a plant, but imagine there is a plant, a plant on the table, and I would ask you now to go to it and talk loudly to this thing. Make yourself completely ridiculous, you know, and how difficult it is. And this thing, at that moment, that you say, oh, no way, I can't do it. And it's not, only if there's nobody around, and maybe, this thing, you know, who are you protecting? What is this thing that now, is it really just the continuation of body and mind? No, they don't care about, you know, they can't be ridiculous. There's this extra thing that you think you have to protect, its dignity, its image. You know, this is the kind of thing that we want to let go. This is going to give you a test of it.
I'm also reminded of some extra difficulty we have in the West, because we're always setting, or many of us are setting out to go and find ourselves. And then we encounter Buddhism, we're told nothing to find. But yeah, so this whole thing about the I mean, honestly, I believe everything in Buddhism is about understanding that. That is the most difficult thing to understand. And so when you hear that in some Buddhist traditions, the monks and nuns or lay people, if they're interested in the study for like 17 years, then only as a tool to understand that, directly or indirectly. It serves all as a tool of tuning into this self. So no surprising that, I mean, he did an amazing job. Those 17 years were in 2 minutes, he's basically summarized them. But the problem is so much our opposite perception of that, which is also why the main difficulty is to identify what are we actually talking about. Well, the technical term is what is the object of negation? What is it actually we are negating here to make sure we don't end up with nothing? So again, the middle way. Not too much, not too little. And if you imagine, I always think of it that way. If you are born in a place where it smells really disgusting, it smells horrible, but you're not used, you don't know any other smell. You're near a factory, you're born near a factory, and you grow up next to this evil, terribly smelling place. So there's this smell. An outsider would come and say, wow, what's that smell? And what would your question be? What smell? You don't know what they're talking about because you don't know it any other way. So here we have this extra difficulty. We see things in that way, and now someone is coming along and telling us it doesn't exist that way. And that makes it so difficult. And there are different methods to actually get to understand what is it actually we're talking about. What is that, as Boaz puts it so nicely, what is it there that is extra? And logic is one tool, it's one method, and there are other methods too. And logic is just saying, because everything is interconnected, if it really existed, it'd be so absurd. This would be the absurdity, that would be the absurdity, that would be the absurdity. So the reasoning that, for instance, one example is, it would be static, it would be independent, it would not depend on anything. It would not be relative, it would be in and of itself existing. So it wouldn't change. So I could never change. I would always be the same. So that's one absurdity, for instance. So through these absurdities, you slowly get to understand that is just impossible. And then you have the challenge of understanding how it does exist. And then you have dependent arising. So those two, understanding how it does not exist by negating what's extra, and understanding how it exists by understanding the interdependent nature of phenomena. So it takes a few years. It may take lifetimes. Okay.
Thank you so much, Geshe. And that will be the topic. Geshe is going to teach us for 2 days, Friday, Saturday, in Farmholders, how to see yourself as you really are. Thank you so much. We appreciate your coming and sharing with us your knowledge and your time. I just say a few words before we leave. כידוע לך, maybe we'll let the teacher leave and then we stay for another minute, okay?
It's thrown out.
Why would I?
In Hebrew.
Stay here for a while.
Okay, sure. All right.